Hello and welcome to The View from North Fulton. I'm Fulton County District 3 Commissioner Liz Hausman, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. If you've spent much time driving on Georgia 400 in North Fulton over the last few years, it would be difficult for you not to notice the landscaping on the 4 exits from Mansell Road to Windward Parkway. And if you use Mansell Road to North Point Parkway, the North Fulton CID's triple left turn lane has alleviated a bit of a traffic headache for you. These are just 2 projects that the North Fulton CID has spent millions in enhancements in infrastructure to our community. The North Fulton Community Improvement District was formed in 2003 by a group of business leaders and property owners. It is a self-taxing district that spans from Mansell Road north to McGinnis Ferry Road. A voluntary tax paid by commercial property owners within the district boundaries funds the CID's efforts to improve the area. Joining us today will be Ann Hanlon, the Chief Operating Officer for the North Fulton CID. She will share with us completed projects as well as a look into the future of the North Fulton CID. Also joining the show today is Eric Bosman, an urban designer and planner with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. He specializes in urban design, community planning, campus planning, and strategic facility planning. Over the last 15 years, he has assisted municipalities, CIDs, educational systems, and other organizations as a facilitator, planner, designer, and project manager. Mr. Bosman will share with us the Blueprint 2.0, the CID's master plan through 2020 when we come back. So stay tuned. We have lots on today's show. Welcome back. I'm here with Ann Hanlon, the Chief Operating Officer for the North Fulton CID. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
And along with you is Eric Bosman from Kimley Horn, who you have done the Blueprint 2020 plan, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which we'll hear about in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about the CID.
Sure.
And your background. What led you to be part of the North Fulton CID?
Sure, yeah. I started working for the CID about 9 years ago. I actually started my career in Atlanta with the Atlanta Regional Commission, which is, of course, the urban planning agency for the metropolitan Atlanta area, which was a good kind of kickstart into learning about transportation planning and how that happens and how federal funds come down through the Atlanta Regional Commission. I then spent some time as the project manager for the Perimeter CID, which is probably one of the biggest CIDs in Metro Atlanta. It's 2 CIDs joined together as 2 separate boards that are governed by one staff, administered by one staff. And I was recruited to come work for the North Fulton CID after its formation.
And it was formed when?
It was formed in August of 2003, so we're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year.
Exciting, exciting. You've done a lot in 10 years.
Yes, we've been able to accomplish a lot. We've come a long way.
So let's go back a second and just tell our viewers exactly what is a CID.
Sure. A CID is a community improvement district, and it is basically a special purpose tax district within a certain geographic boundary. Commercial property owners have volunteered to pay an additional tax, so an additional assessment on top of the property taxes that they already pay to the county. They volunteer to pay an additional assessment. That assessment goes into this organization that is technically a nonprofit called the Community Improvement District, and that money can be spent to help finance public infrastructure projects, like roads or bridges or sidewalks. There are now 14 CIDs in Metro Atlanta, and ours was started in 2003 in North Fulton.
We were the second?
I think we were the 4th maybe.
Okay.
We were the 2nd in Fulton County. So the South Fulton CID formed first. I think I'm saying that right. We were one of the first few in Fulton County. But we exist in Alpharetta, Roswell, and in Milton. We actually were created before the city of Milton incorporated itself. but now we exist in all 3 jurisdictions. We are governed by a 10-member board of directors. So I'll tell you a little bit about how the board of directors get to be on the board, because that's kind of important. We have 10 members on the board. Half of them are appointed by the local governments, and the other half of the board members are elected. So there is a mechanism by which members of the CID can elect their peers to serve on the board, which is an important seat because that board helps govern how the money is spent within the district boundaries. The other half of the board members who are appointed come to us from the cities of Alpharetta, Milton, Roswell, and Fulton County.
And they have to have some connection to the geographical area.
Do.
They have to be associated with one of the properties.
That's right. They have to be associated as a representative of one of the owners.
Right.
So it's important to note that the CID is made up of property owners, not business. Like, for example, a chamber of commerce may be business owners, but a community improvement district is property owners. And sometimes they're local, sometimes they're not local. But every member on our board of directors has to be associated as a representative of an owner within our boundary.
Now, you mentioned the cities that are in the CID. Primarily, it runs along 400 and on each side of 400. That's the general area?
That's right. We go roughly from about Mansell Road in Roswell all the way up to the Fulton-Forsyth County line, which is McGinnis Ferry Road. And then we go out on either side of east or west of Georgia 400. We cannot go into residential properties. By law, we're commercial properties only. So there's kind of a little bit of a natural barrier on either side of Georgia 400 where commercial ends and residential starts.
And all the properties have to be contiguous?
They do. They have to be they have to be commercial. They have to be contiguous, and they pay their assessment actually to Fulton County. They pay when the tax bill comes. They pay their assessment to the CID as part of their overall property taxes, and then that money comes back to the CID. It is probably important to note that every community improvement district board of directors can set their own millage rate. So like a school board or a county commission or whatever, they can set their own millage rate. We're set at 3 mills. CIDs in Metro Atlanta can usually range from 3 mills to up to 5 mills. So in North Fulton, we're one of the ones with the lower rates. We tend to have very high property values compared to a lot of other areas. And so our revenues stay pretty high, which we're very fortunate for. We generate about $2 million a year.
But basically, the governing body sets the millage rate.
That's right.
So they determine how much they want to contribute to the infrastructure improvements that the board would like to see happen.
That's right.
Okay, well, you've been in almost 10 years.
Yes.
Tell us some of the great things you've done.
We have really been able to accomplish a lot. Some of our kind of keystone projects have included landscaping. We've done probably the most visible thing that we have done. The CID has done landscaping at each of the 4 interchanges within our district along Georgia 400. So we installed and we also maintain landscaping at Mansell Road, Haynes Bridge, Old Milton, and Windward, all the landscaping at the interchanges. We have also completed a master plan, which has guided our efforts. We called it Blueprint North Fulton. We spent a lot of time and thought putting together a master plan for the projects that we're going to spend our money on, so there's some thought behind where we invest. We have now completed about 90% of the projects that we originally identified in Blueprint North Fulton.
Wow.
And some of the big projects I think people would recognize are the triple Fs, so at Mansell and North Point, right there, kind of headed up north towards the mall. The CID did that.
And what a difference that makes.
Thank you. It's been very helpful around the holiday season, especially as people go shopping at North Point. We also completed a right turn lane, a free-flowing right turn lane at the exit parkway onto Windward from Georgia 400.
Yes.
So now a commuter could exit at Windward Parkway and make a right turn, and it free flows all the way to the intersection with North Point. That was a big one. Probably our biggest signature project is helping with the completion of West Side Parkway.
Yes.
We helped. We did not do that alone. We partnered with the city of Alpharetta, the city of Roswell, the county, the Department of Transportation. But now West Side Parkway is complete, and it can be used as a parallel alternate route, all the way from Windward Parkway down to Mansell Road. So that's been probably our biggest accomplishment.
Well, and that is one of the great things about the CID is that you can work with other governments and leverage the dollars that you have raised privately, quasi-privately,
Right.
in order to do these projects that would take years to happen.
Right.
I mean, I think of what you've done and how long it would have taken if you hadn't been there, especially West Side Parkway, especially West Side Parkway. And with the toll coming down, I would think that even more folks are going to discover West Side Parkway.
Yes, that's true.
Well, we're going to take a real short break and we're going to come back with Eric and we're going to learn about the Blueprint 2020 plan that you've developed. And so stay with us. We have a lot of exciting things to share about the future in the North Fulton CID. Don't go away. And we're back with Ann Hanlon of the North Fulton CID and Eric Bosman, the designer of the CID's Blueprint Master Plan. And I understand this is the second master plan you've done for the CID?
It is. As Ann mentioned earlier, the North Fulton CID was founded in 2003, really first and foremost to complete West Side Parkway. And as a lot of momentum was built on the Parkway in 2005, 2006, the CID developed its first master plan in 2007 and 2008. And the reason for that was really to guide CID expenditures, to look at future development in the corridor, as well as transportation improvements that needed to be made, and to create an overall master plan that would give some sense of priority and order to CID investments over the next 5 years.
Well, I think it's also very important for consistency to continue the work that you started, you know, almost a decade ago.
It's been a great partnership. I've basically acted as an extension of Ann's staff over the last 5 years as we've implemented the first master plan and created many of the landscape projects, the roadway improvements, as well as seen new development occur in North Fulton. And with Blueprint 2.0, this has been a great opportunity to update the master plan based on what's already been accomplished, as well as a very different development market that's out there today. One of the main components of the Blueprint Master Plan is a real estate market assessment. And whereas 5 years ago, development was booming in 2007 and 2008, and we were talking about how to build transportation improvements to keep up with the pace of development, it's a much more competitive market today. And we've spent a lot of Blueprint 2.0 talking about positioning the North Fulton market and how we can do a better job of attracting investment and development and job creation continue to maintain and enhance the quality of life in North Fulton.
Well, I think that is one of the best components about the CID is that you are providing the atmosphere for the business community to thrive. And it's especially in the area of transportation because as we all know that sit in traffic, of course anyone in Atlanta is sitting in traffic in some part of the city, but it's really especially dense where we are. And so I think, you know, if you don't plan for the future or even assess where you are, there's no way to really grasp those issues. And so that's what your plan does. So tell us about it.
It does. It looks at land use and future development in the North Fulton commercial corridor. It also looks at transportation and infrastructure. And it looks at the overall real estate market and looks at what's needed in the district in terms of housing and business development and job growth. So it takes together all those different pieces. We also work very hard to collaborate with each of the three cities, with Roswell, with Alpharetta, and Milton. Because one of the things the CID does really well through its master plan is provides extra investment towards projects that otherwise might sit on the shelf. And so for transportation projects, roadways, sidewalks, landscaping, that some of the cities may not be able to get to within the CID district, the master plan provides a sense of priority for which projects the CID may want to jump in sooner and help invest in those projects to move them forward more quickly.
So you have a list of projects, but not necessarily the priority that they need to actually occur. That's what the board would decide.
That's right. So the master plan went through a process where we met with stakeholders, we met with each of the cities, we had focus groups of all of the major property owners throughout the district, and created a very large list of sort of wish items of what colleagues and constituents would like to see done over the next 7 years. And then after looking at all of those and doing a series of analysis at which ones would make the biggest difference to traffic operations and improvements, job creation and development in North Fulton, the board has been working for the last couple of months to prioritize all of those projects. So the board took a first glance at that in July. We've been back to each of the 3 cities. We've gone to the city councils in Milton, Alpharetta, and Roswell to get their input on that. There's a public open house this month in December for the public to come comment on that, and then we'll take the final project list back to the board in early January for their approval, and that again will guide CID investment through 2020.
Well, give us some highlights of some of the things that you are considering.
There are a couple of great projects ongoing right now. As Ann mentioned earlier, there was a Phase 1 improvement to the Georgia 400 off-ramp at Windward Parkway. That solved a lot of the morning congestion and some of the eastbound traffic towards North Point Parkway. There's also a second phase of that project which goes west from Georgia 400 over to Deerfield and would be a significant traffic improvement, not only for folks getting off of Georgia 400 at Windward, but also for folks traveling east to west along Windward Parkway. So that's a project that's very high on the list for Blueprint 2.0. We're also looking at projects like extending North Winds Parkway, which will be right at the front door of the Avalon development and adjacent to the Gwinnett Technical College that's going on. So that's a big improvement for access and mobility in that area. We'll also break ground in 2014 on improvements to the Encore Parkway corridor. That will replace the bridge of Encore Parkway over Georgia 400 and create a full pedestrian bicycle route from West Side Parkway and the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater all the way down to the Big Creek Parkway. So that will enhance access significantly for all of the folks that live on the west side of Georgia 400 and right now have a very hard time getting to the Greenway, which is one of our best assets in North Fulton. So a combination of roadway improvements, bridges, as well as pedestrian bicycle improvements.
Exciting, exciting. So you've presented this to the council. You're going to have the board, did you say, make the decisions in January?
Board will make the final decisions in January. There will also be a full summary document that once the board approves it, we'll get it online at www.northfultoncid.com.
Okay.
And all of the other CID projects and initiatives are on the website as well for any constituents that would like to view it there.
You briefly mentioned an analysis of the real estate in North Fulton. Have you got any comments about the situation today and what you see coming in the next few years?
It's certainly been a tough time the last 4 years, and there are some challenges to overcome in terms of empty retail storefronts, and we've still got about 500,000 square feet of vacant office space that needs to come back online and be leased up. But we really see an exciting opportunity. As development has started to come back the last 6 to 8 months, North Fulton's in a great position. We need to continue to make improvements in terms of walkability and opportunities for folks to both live and work in the area. And there's some initiatives that a lot of folks in North Fulton are working on towards that end. But it's an exciting time and we're well positioned to capture a lot of growth moving forward. We just want to put the blueprint in a method that we can capture that growth smartly and wisely and make sure that we get the right kinds of development in the right areas and don't overwhelm the quality of life and the great things that we already have in North Fulton.
And as our cities work for economic development and trying to attract new businesses and keep the ones we have, I know this information is very helpful to them to have that in place.
Absolutely.
To talk to the prospects about.
Absolutely. We've been excited to use a lot of blueprint, of the initial blueprint, as part of the basis for not only transportation plans, but some of the economic development work that's been done in the area. And it's really exciting to be able to go to not only current business owners, but prospects and talk about all the great things that are going on and all the great things that are in the master plan. That the more folks we have involved, the more folks that we have that are working as part of the CID and the local governments, even more we can do to enhance quality of life in North Fulton.
So if I asked you to name 3 really great things going on in North Fulton, what would you say?
Wow, I think the Avalon development is going to be a tremendous game changer for North Fulton in terms of the level of retail and the quality of retail and the type of environment that that's going to create.
And that's a $600 million investment, I believe?
$600 million investment right at Old Milton Parkway and Georgia 400. And as we've updated the Blueprint Master Plan, we've looked at other examples in Reston, Virginia, and Plano, Texas, and in Aurora, Colorado for new development types that are taking place. And Avalon is very much that. It's the way development's going to be done in the future in terms of putting a lot of things in one place and trying to build a lot of synergies. So that's really exciting for North Fulton and for the CID area. We're, of course, very excited about the Encore Parkway project. That's going to make such a big difference. Right now, most of our crossings of Georgia 400 are big interchanges that are built for cars. And Encore Parkway is going to be the first opportunity to really build a crossing for pedestrians and bicycles and for folks that live on one side and shop on the other. We're really excited about the connectivity that's going to bring, as well as the future development potential for that node. As some of those older retail strip centers start to age, it will create a great opportunity for reinvestment and continued investment in those areas. From a third standpoint, I really think the economic development is promising. We need to continue to talk about the strengths of North Fulton, how we're positioned within the market, and continue to bring quality jobs to the area. I know that's something that a lot of our board members are really high on, is making sure that we're creating a great place for property owners and business owners and employees, and we're hopeful that the blueprint will play a big role in doing that as well.
Wonderful. Well, Ann, 2014 is right around the corner. Give us an idea of what you see happening in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think 2014 is probably going to be one of our biggest years ever. Actually, we've got two big projects that should be going to construction this year. One is the extension of North Winds Parkway, which will be adjacent to the new technical campus of Gwinnett Tech and opening up to the Avalon development.
So currently it stops at Kimball Bridge Road.
That's right.
So it will be extended all the way to Old Milton?
That's the plan now. Of course, there's that could change any time, but the plan now that the CID has hired out with the engineering we've done is to extend it all the way from Kimball Bridge to Old Milton.
Great.
Another big project that we've got that will be going into construction is the Encore Parkway Bridge that we mentioned, which is a total replacement of the bridge that is out there now at Encore Parkway, kind of connecting Verizon Wireless Amphitheater to North Point Mall. And we're really excited about that. That's a partnership. It's a $10 million project, a partnership between the CID, the Department of Transportation, the City of Alpharetta, and the Atlanta Regional Commission. And I will just kind of close too to say that the CID is going to be in business until 2021. So we will be here until 2021 with thanks to the Fulton County Commission and our delegation in the Georgia State Legislature. We've been able to extend our lifetime until then. So I'm hopeful that we can do a lot of exciting things between now and then.
Well, if you keep up all the good work you've done, I would think you would last past 2021.
Thank you.
So no, it's really a joy to have good news shared with the community. And all the exciting things that are happening. I do want to ask you about the construction during the Encore Bridge. What should we expect?
Yeah, there will be a total closure for a period of time. There will be a total closure, and we have detour plans that are available on our website.
Okay.
But we've got we've gotten the detour plans approved with like school bus routes and routing for the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater and all of that. So
and your
there's a
website
plan.
Address
Is northfultoncid.com.
Very good. It's exciting. Thank you
Thank
again
you for
to both
having
of you
us.
for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for all of the work you've done to improve our infrastructure in North Fulton County. We appreciate it. And we'll be right back with the closing thoughts, so please don't go away. It is very important as our North Fulton community continues to grow that we have a strategy that allows our growth to benefit the residential, business, commercial, civic, and educational needs of all of our residents. I am looking forward to the new public improvement programs as well as the economic growth potential that this 2020 plan outlines. Economic vitality creates a framework for a positive perception of the area and vibrant community connectivity. The North Fulton CID has been instrumental in enhancing the infrastructure of the North Fulton corridor. I want to thank both of my guests for being here today, and thank you for watching. That's my view. What's yours? If you would like more information on the topic we discussed today, please contact my District 3 office at 404 612-8213. You can also email me at liz.houseman@fultoncountyga.gov. And of course, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on The View from North Fulton.